all love a conspiracy theory, but when they get as believable and backed up as this one, they get a little bit too close for comfort. Christopher Plummer was known for being a dashing grandee of stage and film. We'd say that's pretty accurate. He passed away at the age of 91.
Christopher Plummer died at his Connecticut home this morning after a blow to his head from a fall.
And had a career that spanned genres, continents, and entire decades. He's done everything, from science fiction to musicals and even a few Shakespearean plays. But that's not what you're here for, is it? You're here for the truth behind his death.
First time you saw your name up in lights.
Well, it wasn't big enough.
And supposedly, his death came about as complications due to a fall? If that sounds a little fishy to you, just know that you're not the only one. A lot of people online have latched onto that death certificate and started to peel back the layers on it. You'll be amazed at the connections that they found. But first, why don't we all give you a quick reminder about the man behind the name? The younger crowd especially might need a bit of a refresher about who he is and what he's known for. We're not saying he's old, but, well, 91 is a good age.
Well, that was a very, very, very long time ago.
He's probably best known for his role as Captain Von Trapp in the classic movie The Sound of Music. It was one of his biggest hitting roles of all time, and something that even the kids nowadays have probably seen a time or two. But it was far from the only thing that he was known for. In fact, he was pretty much the go-to man when it came to acting of any sort in Hollywood.
I said, yes, thank you very much. I'll take the risk.
You would think that for someone of his age, it wouldn't be a stir when they passed away. A tragedy, yes, and we're all mourning him. Everyone, from Chris Evans to the cast of Star Trek VI, have come out and started grieving the loss of this brilliant actor. He was truly a star of the highest caliber, and there are many who firmly believe we'll never come across another actor like him.
Wake of the Oscar winner's death, Julie Andrews honored her co-star from The Sound of Music in a statement to People magazine. She wrote, "The world has lost a consummate actor today, and I have lost a cherished friend."
So what's the big deal? How are people looking at this situation and going, wow, we're not being told something about it? Easy. It's the details of the accident itself. See, the complications weren't from a broken bone or anything like that. They were from a blow to the head. You heard that right, a blow to the head. Supposedly taken when he fell and reported later on by his wife. Some people think that's a little odd, especially when considering the fact that outside of his age, he was a very healthy and actually very active person, as his 2020 interviews show.
Even dream it was going to be, and nobody did. It was going to be a successful. While we were making it, we had no clue, right?
Yeah, no, I don't, no, never, couldn't have.
No.
But it goes deeper than just a weird accident. To really understand the thought process people are going through here, you have to understand a bit about his younger days. Christopher Plummer never had an issue with drugs. In fact, he claims to have only ever tried smoking a joint once. It put him to sleep, and it was too boring for him to try again. No other drugs ever caught his interest. But alcohol? That's a totally different story. He'll openly admit that it was a drinking problem and not just the occasional beer too many. In fact, one of the most memorable stories about him, outside of his impressive acting accolades, is one where he invites both a police officer and his horse into a bar for a drink, and the officer agreed. They brought the horse into the bar, had pictures taken all the way around. All concerned, including the horse, were promptly handed triple tequilas.
What's the secret? Tell us what it is.
A long life of hard drinking. And Jason bought everybody a triple tequilas and gave the horse one.
When asked about whether he misses drinking, he went on the record to say, "Those wild days are over now. I do miss them, but you can't behave like that anymore, as there are too many horrible things happening. But I do think the world has lost its mischievous sense of fun. I was rather a petulant and angry drunk, so I gave the hard stuff up in the 70s, and I've been a happy wino ever since." And that's where people start wondering, clearly, about whether there might have been something more to Plummer's death. He was a hardcore drinker for a long time, and he was into the heavy-hitting alcohol. And while his third wife gave him an ultimatum, stop drinking or I'm gone, and he switched over to just wine, some people can't help but wonder if he was looking to find some of that long-lost mischievous fun that he so often lamented not being around anymore. It's hard for an alcoholic to stay off the juice, and there's been a lot of cases where people go back to drinking or using drugs in their older years as a way to try and relive their glory days. So, is there a chance that Christopher Plummer might have gone from wine to brandy or another harder drink of choice? We think it's a possibility, and so do a lot of people online.
Had the best DTs I've ever seen. You might say Henry's bladder abhorred a vacuum.
They also want to really focus in on the part that Plummer was open about saying he was an angry drunk, that he was petulant and went out of his way to start fights. So it might not be a far cry to wonder, if he was drinking and back to being a real mean, ornery kind of drunk, maybe things got physical. Maybe he wasn't just mean with his tongue, but a little rough around the edges in other ways. Maybe they got into a fight, and things just ended up getting out of hand. That's a more common thing than people like to mention. It's a thought that really hits close to home for a lot of us, too. Of course, there's always more than just one theory for this sort of thing, and while a lot of people online are thinking that it might have been a fight that got out of hand, there are plenty of others out there who just think his wife is trying to cover up the fact that he took the fall because he was drunk. With a career as long-spanning and illustrious as Christopher Plummer's, it would be a shame to have all of that ruined at the very end because of a drunken spill, right? People knowing that he has wine in the evenings is one thing, but knowing that he's gone back to hardcore drinking, that's a completely different story to tack onto his name. These things do happen, though. The fact that not a whole lot has been revealed about his death so far isn't helping matters. In fact, the less that people are saying, the more that people are speculating. He passed away on the 5th of February, and there's been, well, mostly nothing said on the matter so far. We're still waiting for the next part of the story to drop, but in the meantime, we would love to hear your thoughts on the matter. Do you think that it was just a case of an old man taking the wrong step, or was there liquor in play? And if it was liquor, do you think that there was a fight to go along with it, or are things just staying hushed over because they're trying to save Christopher Plummer's good name? Thanks for joining. Please remember to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell.